Hi, I'm Byron Elton, Chief Executive Officer of CancerVax and a cancer survivor. At CancerVax, we're working on a better way to treat cancer. 10 million people die every year from cancer because the body does not easily recognize and kill cancer cells. The body is very good at killing cells that it recognizes, like measles. And so our very novel technology tricks the body into thinking cancer cells are measles. I'm delighted today to have as my guest Adam Grant, Principal Scientist at CancerVax. Adam is one of the inventors of the company's Universal Cancer Treatment Platform. He's an expert computational biologist using AI and machine learning to discover new drugs and biological pathways. He invented software to improve cancer antigen detection and a gene signature approach to select treatment for breast cancer. Adam, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Byron. Excited to be here.
So let's jump right in and talk about the exciting work that you and the team are doing for CancerVax. As I mentioned, 10 million people a year die of this insidious disease, and 20 more will be diagnosed. So we know that the traditional approaches of surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation, while they're getting better at it, still bring very nasty side effects. So the work that you and the team are doing with CancerVax is really timely and very exciting. Here's my first question. Why is cancer so hard to detect and kill?
That's the crux of the problem in treating cancer patients, Byron. One of the biggest problems we have in the cancer field is the cancer cells can hide from the immune system. If the immune system could recognize the cancer cells, it could easily kill them. And that's where a lot of these novel drugs that are immunotherapy-based drugs have come into the market and had great success. However, unfortunately, there's still these limitations with these current immunotherapy drugs. So what CancerVax is doing is we are trying to detect, mark, and then use the immune system to kill the cancer cells. So rather than stimulating the immune system, we are actually helping the immune system to recognize the cancer cells, which is something else that not really anyone else is, which is something that no one else is really doing.
That's fantastic. So, Adam, as one of the inventors of this approach, you know that we recently released some really exciting news announcing the filing of a patent for our Universal Cancer Treatment Platform. Tell us how our new technology will make it possible to detect and kill only cancer cells.
Yeah, this is something that gets me really excited about our technology. Because, a lot of current therapies, such as like CAR T cells or antibody drug conjugates, they're using what we call as a marker one approach, where they're going to identify a surface protein on the outside of the cell to mark or try to kill the cancer cell. However, at CancerVax, we are taking that to another level and using a two-step approach where we have a marker one, similar to antibody drug conjugates and CAR T cells, and a marker two approach, which actually identifies genetic signatures inside of a cancer cell to distinguish between cancer cells and healthy cells. And by using this approach, we anticipate that we'll be able to more selectively only kill cancer cells and reducing a lot of very harmful and unfortunate side effects that come from cancer therapies.
Well, that's really key because the ability to detect and kill only cancer cells is a breakthrough. We know we've all had experiences with people who undergo chemotherapy, surgery, radiation, the traditional. And listen, as a layperson, it occurs to me that basically the approach is we're going to go in and kill the cancer cells, but we're going to kill a lot of other good stuff as well. We just hope we don't kill you in the process.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, so this approach is just so breakthrough and so important and such a blessing to people who go through these really nasty side effects. So can you explain how the Universal Cancer Treatment Platform works and how it avoids off-target or toxic side effects?
You bet. And what we are doing that's very novel is we're using mRNA technology. And this is something that a lot of people have probably heard about from the Moderna and Pfizer COVID-19 vaccines. And so we're tweaking this to be specific towards cancer to a certain extent. And so the way that our approach works is that we have a lipid nanoparticle that's coated with targeting moieties that can recognize surface proteins on the outside of a cell. Then the secret sauce of CancerVax, the payload, which is an mRNA molecule, is encapsulated inside of the LNP and then delivered to cancer cells and healthy cells. However, our payload, our smart mRNA payload is able to further distinguish between healthy cells and cancer cells based off of genetic signatures and only be expressed in cancer cells. And this is why we are trying to utilize the immune system to kill only the cancer cells by making them look like something that the immune system already knows, like the measles virus.
So I'm old enough to remember having measles, by the way, and getting treated for it. Been a long time since I heard it since anybody had measles. So my question for you is this. Clearly, the body is really good at killing measles, detecting it, remembers what they look like, and if it does come around, they kill it. Why did you choose measles, and why is the measles vaccine so effective in remembering and fighting off the virus?
Yeah, one thing that's really convenient for us about the measles vaccine is that they use a live attenuated virus. So it's a very weak version of the measles virus. However, when an individual receives the MMR vaccine, it stimulates as if that person was infected with measles and elicits a very strong immune response. So even though, individuals like me, received the measles vaccine, 20 to 30 years ago, my body, because of the intense infection from the live attenuated virus, created very strong memory CD8 T cells. And there's been a lot of research that has shown that these memory CD8 T cells against measles antigens are very long lasting, and they are considered to be lifelong for everyone. And another reason why we decided to go with measles is because if you think about it, 90 to 95% of the population has already been vaccinated against measles. So ideally, this approach should work for a lot of different individuals due to their vaccination status of MMR. Another thing that's really exciting about this approach is that, and why we call it a universal cancer treatment is because, the idea of making a cancer cell look like a measles infected cell should work across a lot of different cancer types. So ideally, we're trying to do the same thing in all the different cancer types, and it should be plausible. And that's what we're trying to do here at CancerVax.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that. So we believe and passionately that our universal cancer treatment platform is a real game changer in the field of immunotherapy and cancer treatment. We should note at this point that in 3 years, talking about 2027, the cancer immunotherapy market will be a $153 million market. And so we're playing in a field that's really important and really exciting. Adam, timing is everything, right? And so why do you feel and your team feel that now is the time for technology like our universal cancer treatment platform to be discovered, to be developed, and to make such a huge difference in the available treatment options?
Yeah, really, there couldn't have been a better time for us to start this project. And that's because of our use of the mRNA technology. I mean, of course, it's devastating what COVID-19 did to a lot of individuals, but the technology that came out of that pandemic has been able to, supersede potential therapies, especially in the cancer space. Because, now we know that mRNA technologies are safe and effective. And with this, we are able to tweak those vaccines to really, help detect, mark, and then kill cancer cells. And in addition to that, the data that is available to identify these genetic signatures and the components that we need to specifically target cancer cells are, you know, they just keep growing every single day. And because of my computational background, we're able to harness all of this public data and utilize it in the development of our therapy without spending a lot of time and resources, developing going into the wet lab and growing cells and doing tons of different experiments. We're able to quickly get these answers needed to progress this program as fast as possible.
So it seems like the time is now because all the pieces have come into place with all the artificial intelligence and whatnot. And I'm really glad you brought up your background in computational biology. I mean, you've got a PhD in cancer biology, and then at some point you decided to have an emphasis in computational biology. I'm fascinated by that. How do you think that your background in computational biology has assisted you in the development of our platform?
So much. You would be amazed at the amount of data that is out there, Byron. And it's just sitting there waiting for anyone to use it. However, a lot of people don't have the skills needed to utilize this data to answer specific hypotheses that we might have. However, because of my computational skills, I'm able to go and curate and um, harness this data and ask these very specific questions that we need to move forward. I mean, of course, we have to validate these computational approaches, but from computational biology, we're already narrowing down the number of tests we need from thousands to 5. And that is just giving us so much, propelling us so much forward at such a rapid pace that we're able to develop this.
Fantastic. Listen, Adam, this has been, you and I live this on a daily basis, but just sitting down and talking about it from a 40,000-foot level, you get so excited about the possibilities here and how important this is. Can I get a little personal with you for just a minute?
Sure.
I know that as passionate as you are about this because of your education and because of the discoveries you make, you have a personal interest in this. And at one point, there was something that happened to you in your life that kind of led you to this career. Would you mind sharing that with us?
I can do that. And so, really, what made me want to go into cancer research was during my early college years, where I had a really good friend that I knew throughout a majority of my life. We were on the swim team together. We were co-captains on the swim team, and his name was Stephen Griner. I'm Adam Grant. So, just because of the way our names were, we were always sitting next to each other in school. Our lockers were next to each other, and I just knew everything about this kid. I mean, well, I probably spent more time with him than I did with my actual family. Well, unfortunately, in his early 20s, he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. And at the time, I didn't really know what was going on. It was just really sad to see, but my perception was that he's a young guy, he can get better. However, even though he was in his early 20s, I saw his life dramatically change in the last 2 years of his life. And unfortunately, he succumbed to the cancer during a bone marrow transplant. And it was just so devastating for me. And I could see what it did to his family. And it didn't seem fair. And I wanted to get into the game to help out in any way that I could, even if it's just a little bit. And unfortunately, as time proceeded, I saw other people in my life that had been affected by cancer. My aunt passed away a couple years ago from colorectal cancer, and my mom was even diagnosed with endometrial cancer a couple of years ago. And it's just amazing because he's actually currently on an immunotherapy, Keytruda. And without that therapy, my mom would not be here. I can guarantee it. It has just changed her and my family's life. And if there's anything that I can do to help that in another person's family, I'm all on board. And I really think that our universal cancer treatment platform has the potential to help thousands, if not more, patients just because of the way that we are utilizing the immune system to kill cancer cells.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that. Your passion for this project really comes through, and we couldn't be more excited about the work that you and the team are doing. I have a personal investment in this as well. As you know, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer some years ago. Fortunately, I didn't have to undergo any chemotherapy, but I did have the surgery. I did have radiation and still dealing with some of the side effects of that. But I'm here and I'm going to be here for a while. And so, there was a time that with me and my family, or we weren't quite sure how this was going to go. It was all a function of had the cancer spread, right? Was it localized? Could they take it out? And I was one of the fortunate ones where we got it early enough where that happened. But like you, I don't want people to have to go through what my family did, waiting for the test results and saying, look, are we going to be okay? Or is it a time management situation where we say, yeah, you got 3 years, you got 5 years, you got 9 months, you've got whatever. It's terribly devastating to families. Well, again, Adam, this has been a fantastic experience talking to you, and thank you so much for the work that you're doing. If I could just really quickly summarize this from my standpoint, not a scientist, right? But so impressed with the work you're doing. Let me try to do that and see for our viewers if we can do that. 10 million people are going to die of cancer this year. 20 million more are going to be diagnosed because the body does not easily recognize and kill cancer cells. The body's immune system is an amazing thing. It knows how to recognize and kill all kinds of things that in the past used to kill people, like measles. Our unique technology tricks the body into thinking cancer cells are measles and goes in and kills only those cancer cells. Does that kind of sum it up?
That's it. And it's just amazing that it can work, and we have all the capabilities and technology out there right now to make this happen. We just need to do it. All the tools are out there for us. And well, I know we're going to make it happen here at CancerVax.
Well, and gratefully, thankfully, we have people like you and this amazing team that you've put together to do just that. And unlike times in the past when it took 10, 15 years to bring these things to fruition, because of your computational biology background, because of artificial intelligence, we can take all those pieces that are out there and put them together in a very, very much shorter period of time. So, Adam, impressive team, but a small team. So, in today's environment, how does a team like yours bring into play all of the resources available to make something as big as our universal cancer platform treatment work?
Yeah. It's amazing. We have big ideas, but the world that we live in has never been smaller before. So even though, we might not have all of the wet lab capacity or the space we need to generate and develop some of these experiments, that we are positioned very well to team up with all other CROs that can make this possible. We're bringing the idea to the table. However, there's already a lot of companies that are established that have LNP technology that can synthesize our mRNA or can do experiments with us for us in a lab setting. And we've already created that infrastructure here at CancerVax and working closely with these CROs to really move the development of our universal cancer treatment. It's just amazing how feasible this is with all of the other people out there that we can team up with to develop this technology and really help cancer patients get the treatment that they need.
Right. And affordably, much more.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, thank you for sharing that. For the uninitiated, what's a CRO?
Contract research organization.
Great. And there's lots of them out there doing great work. Well, Adam, it's been fantastic talking to you. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to talking to you again in the future. Good luck.
Thanks, Byron, and you too.
Thanks.